Greetings, my friend. Sit with me a while, and I will tell you my story, a story of music, genius, and the fleeting nature of life. My name is Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, and this is my life, as I lived it. The Child Prodigy. I was born on January 27, 1756, in Salzburg, a small city in the Austrian Empire. My father, Leopold Mozart, was a composer, violinist, and music teacher. My mother, Anna Maria, was a kind and gentle woman who supported my father's ambitions. From the moment I could walk, I was surrounded by music. My father recognized my talent early on, and by the age of 3, I was picking out chords on the clavier. By 5, I was composing my own little pieces. My sister, Maria Anna, whom we called Nanel, was also a gifted musician. Together, we toured Europe, performing for royalty and nobility. I was just 6 years old when we set out on our first grand tour. We played in Munich, Vienna, Paris, London, and beyond. The audiences were amazed by my ability to play the harpsichord, violin, and organ, and to improvise complex pieces on the spot. They called me a Wunderkind, a wonder child. But life on the road was not easy. The journeys were long and arduous, and I often fell ill. Yet, despite the hardships, I loved performing. Music was my language, my way of connecting with the world. The composer emerges. By the time I was a teenager, I had already composed symphonies, sonatas, and operas. My father was my greatest teacher and mentor, but he was also a strict disciplinarian. He pushed me to excel, to constantly improve. I resented his control at times, but I also knew that he had my best interests at heart. In 1769, I was appointed as an honorary concertmaster at the court of Salzburg. It was a prestigious position, but it came with little pay and even less creative freedom. I longed to break free from the constraints of Salzburg, to explore the wider world of music. The Grand Tour of Italy. In 1770, at the age of 14, I embarked on a tour of Italy with my father. It was a transformative experience. Italy was the birthplace of opera, and I was eager to learn from the masters. I studied with Giovanni Battista Martini, a renowned composer and teacher, and I was admitted to the Accademia Filarmonica di Bologna, one of the most prestigious music institutions in Europe. In Rome, I attended a performance of Gregorio Allegri's Miserere, a piece so closely guarded by the Vatican that copying it was forbidden. After hearing it just once, I wrote down the entire score from memory. The Pope was so impressed that he awarded me the Order of the Golden Spur, a rare honor for a musician. The struggle for independence. As I grew older, I chafed under the control of the Archbishop of Salzburg, Hieronymus Colloredo. He treated me as a servant, demanding that I compose music on command and refusing to grant me leave to perform elsewhere. I longed for independence, for the freedom to create as I wished. In 1781, I finally broke free. I moved to Vienna, the musical capital of Europe, and began my career as a freelance composer and performer. It was a risky move, but I was determined to succeed on my own terms. Love and marriage. In Vienna, I fell in love with Constanze Weber, a talented singer and the sister of my first love, Aloysia. My father disapproved of the match, but I was determined to marry her. We wed on August 4, 1782, and though our marriage was not without its challenges, I loved Constanze deeply. She was my partner, my confidant, and my muse. The freelance composer. Vienna was a city of opportunity, but it was also a city of fierce competition. As a freelance composer, I had to work tirelessly to secure commissions and performances. I gave concerts, taught students, and composed music for wealthy patrons. It was a precarious existence, but I relished the freedom it gave me. One of my greatest triumphs during this period was the premiere of my opera The Abduction from the Seraglio in 1782. It was a resounding success, and it established me as one of the leading composers of my time. The Emperor Joseph II famously remarked, "Too many notes, my dear Mozart," to which I replied, "Just as many as are necessary, Your Majesty." The friendship with Haydn. In Vienna, I formed a close friendship with Joseph Haydn, one of the most respected composers of the day. Haydn was a mentor and a friend, and he had a profound influence on my music. He once told my father, "Before God and as an honest man, I tell you that your son is the greatest composer known to me either in person or by name." Haydn and I often played string quartets together, and I dedicated a set of 6 quartets to him, known as the Haydn Quartets. They were some of the most challenging and innovative works I had composed up to that point, and they reflected the deep mutual respect and admiration we shared. The operatic masterpieces. The 1780s were a golden period for my operatic career. I collaborated with the librettist Lorenzo da Ponte on 3 of my greatest operas, The Marriage of Figaro, Don Giovanni, and Così fan tutte. Each of these works pushed the boundaries of the genre, blending comedy and drama, and exploring the complexities of human nature. The Marriage of Figaro premiered in 1786 and was a critical success, though it courted controversy for its satirical portrayal of the aristocracy. Don Giovanni, which followed in 1787, was a darker, more dramatic work, and it remains one of my most enduring operas. Così fan tutte, premiered in 1790, was a playful exploration of love and fidelity, and it showcased my ability to weave intricate musical textures. Financial struggles. Despite my successes, I often struggled financially. Vienna was an expensive city, and my income was irregular. I was not always the best at managing money, and I frequently found myself in debt. Constance and I had 6 children, but only 2 survived infancy, and the costs of their care added to our burdens. In 1787, I was appointed as a chamber composer to Emperor Joseph II, but the position came with a modest salary and few responsibilities. It was a far cry from the secure, well-paid positions I had hoped for, and it did little to alleviate my financial woes. The final years. The final years of my life were marked by both creative brilliance and personal hardship. In 1791, I composed some of my most famous works, including The Magic Flute, La Clemenza di Tito, and my unfinished Requiem. The Magic Flute was a triumph, a singspiel that combined fairy tale elements with Masonic symbolism. It premiered in September 1791 and was an immediate success. But my health was failing. I had always been prone to illness, and by the autumn of 1791, I was gravely ill. I worked feverishly on the Requiem, which had been commissioned anonymously by Count Franz von Walsegg. I knew I was dying, and I poured all my remaining energy into the piece. On December 5, 1791, I passed away at the age of 35. The cause of my death remains a mystery, but it was likely due to a combination of rheumatic fever and kidney failure. It's my legacy. My friend, I did not live to see the full impact of my work. But my music endures, a testament to the power of the human spirit. I showed the world that even in the face of hardship, we can create something beautiful, something eternal. And that's another chapter from the pages of history, proof that the past is filled with legends, leaders, and visionaries who shaped the world we live in today. But history is far from over. There are still so many incredible stories to uncover. So if you enjoyed this journey through time, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to History's Icons for more legendary tales. Who or what should we explore next? Let me know in the comments. Your idea might be the next great story we bring to life. Thanks for watching, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next episode of History's Icons, where the past comes to life.